America's watching ABC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ann Rollins.
And I'm Sam Brown. Coming up next on Eyewitness News, a holiday homecoming for an East Tennessee couple trapped in Kuwait.
And some Knox County students want their voices heard in the school desegregation controversy.
I'm Jim Wogan. Former Vol basketball star Bernard King has another big night in the NBA. And speaking of big, George Foreman tuning up for his heavyweight fight. We'll have it all for you in Big Board Sports.
Speaking of big, we have a big warm-up headed into the Thanksgiving Day holiday and then a big cool-down into the weekend. I'll have your complete weather forecast.
Plus a close look at Earth's neighbor.
Coming up next on Eyewitness News. Stay with us.
Made in the USA for Americans who play hard and work hard. The Sonoma ST from GMC Truck. Your price, $91.80. That price includes V6 engine, air conditioning, AM/FM stereo with cassette, rear step bumper, 3-passenger seating, full carpeting, tinted glass, raised white letter tires, a full-size spare, and more. Only $91.80 to own the Sonoma ST. GMC Truck, now with the highest resale value for the past 10 years. See your Greater Knoxville GMC 10 dealer.
A holiday for young and old. Holly, ribbon, glass, and gold. Long John Silver's, make it a splash.
Make it a home-style holiday with Long John Silver seafood and holiday crystal stemware. Just 99 cents each with any meal. Long John Silver's.
Make it a splash.
Monday through Wednesday, try our 3-piece home-style fish and fry special for just $1.99.
When I was away from home as a kid, what I missed most were the simple things. For Andy, the long weeks he spends at an out-of-town hospital could be very lonely. But thanks to the Ronald McDonald House, Andy's family has a place to stay nearby. And now you can help keep families together.
When you spend $15 or more at Revco and take home this holiday bear for just $5.99, we'll give $2 to your local Ronald McDonald House.
And that can help kids like Andy feel a lot better.
WATE TV 6, Knoxville. Taking you to where people live and news is made. This is TV6 Live Eyewitness News.
Good evening to you. I'm Sam Brown.
And I'm Ann Rollins. There are signs of progress, but tonight the superpowers have a lot of work to do in dealing with Iraq. At the European Conference in Paris, the United States and Soviet Union are far apart on the wording of a UN resolution calling for the use of force against Iraq. However, behind-the-scenes negotiations tell a different story.
We are united today. President Gorbachev and President Bush have both made it very clear that we intend to remain united.
And while the talks continue in Paris, in Washington, 45 members of Congress are taking the war talk to court. They are suing in order to make sure that President Bush can't declare war without congressional approval. Meanwhile, there is word tonight that Iraq is planning to free all German hostages. According to the White House, it's just another power play by Saddam Hussein.
2 former American hostages are back in East Tennessee tonight. The couple was released from Iraq 2 weeks ago. Gary Weiss reports on today's emotional homecoming.
Gertrude and Sam Thomas are eager to see their daughter and son-in-law.
How are you doing? Hi, Mom. How you doing?
Brenda and Don Swanky were living in Kuwait when Iraq attacked.
The day we got caught, it was just a normal day. They kicked in our door about 8 o'clock that evening. And then about 1 o'clock in the morning, we were finally taken to the hotel in Kuwait, and then 2 days later taken on to Baghdad.
We were prisoners for 100 days, and although treated well, we're under lock and key. Just a bad scene.
It turns out concerns about Don's medical condition led to the couple's release. They first went to California before arriving in Knoxville with no belongings. What they did have was a large and loving family waiting.
Thanksgivings are going to be the greatest, yes, sir, that we've ever had.
And McGee Tyson Airport, Gary Weiss, TV6 Live Eyewitness News.
Ms. Swanky's plan on staying in East Tennessee until January.
A Knoxville-based Army Reserve unit is being called up for possible duty in the Middle East. The unit is the 844th Combat Engineers. Nobody is saying anything officially, but the reservists have already reported to the Reserve Center at UT. A news conference is scheduled for tomorrow to make the official call-up announcement. The military mission of the 844th is to build roads and airfields. 2 other Tennessee Reserve units, one from Johnson City and one from Nashville, are also being activated.
Tonight, some Knox County students feel they've been shortchanged in the chance to voice opposition to the desegregation plan. So they called a meeting to unite in a single voice. These student representatives of more than 9 Knox County middle and high schools believe all the rhetoric so far has come from parents, teachers, and school board officials. So they want their turn to show their anxiety and concern over the school reform plan that must be submitted to the Office of Civil Rights by December 31st. From the tension and confusion came concern over the possible breakup of neighborhood schools and the learning process itself. Meeting organizer Michael Sane is a junior at Doyle High. What is that one issue you're trying to rally around?
That curriculum should be equal. That we're totally against the busing of students to other schools. It totally destroys our learning process. It'll bring us away from friends, and then it'll be impossible for us to learn.
There was one thing that everyone did seem to agree on at tonight's meeting, and that was expressed to me by the president of the local chapter of the NAACP, Charles Clark.
The thing that really hurts me so is that we as parents have really not done a very good job informing our young people at first what's actually going on. And the main issue here is quality education.
While the students met at Austin East, the task force subcommittee was mapping out plans at the city-county building to meet desegregation requirements at middle schools. So far, the task force has recommended closing 3 high schools and building 1. The task force is using a computer to see if the high school guidelines would fit middle schools as well. Now, tomorrow night, the school board task force members will meet to review and possibly approve Plan 5 for Knox County high schools. School leaders in Sevier County would rather be safe than sorry. Children throughout the Sevier County school system practiced today how to react to an earthquake just in case the big one predicted along the New Madrid fault line really rumbles December 3rd.
It's just like if you have a drill for fire or anything else. You know, you want to familiarize them enough to let them be, you know, responsible and know where to go and what to avoid and get away from. And I think you'd have less havoc and a lot less running up and down and, you know, panicking type situations.
Every school in the system will have at least 2 drills before December 3rd.
Life in the Southern Appalachians changes with time, but the urge to pass on its traditional culture is as durable as the mountains themselves. And our Angela Lawrence tells us tonight how Jubilee Community Arts is preserving this region's artistic riches.
And my long, skinny fingernails. Go away, old woman.
With eyes that sparkle, a mystical energy, and a booming voice, Miss Debbie launches into a masterful tale, bringing to life an oral tradition native to the Great Smoky Mountains.
She took those fingernails and she went... Y'all want to try that?
Miss Debbie's storytelling isn't solely designed to entertain. It's part of a cultural heroes program which strives to give rural children a new sense of pride in themselves and in their heritage.
It may be different from the rock stars and the football heroes, but we do have heroes in this community that we can talk about and that have shared their stories, cultural heroes.
This is the learning source these kids usually use during this English period. However, for the past 10 days, storytelling has also been a great learning source.
The slower students, it's really brought them out. They've got up and wanted to tell their stories and even wanted to write them.
Where's my golden arm? That was right in front of his bedroom door.
The kids take down oral histories from their family members and then they're encouraged to act them out. So as these young storytellers find their voices, words of years past can find audiences in years to come.
He was right beside him. He could feel it. Where's my golden arm? It was right in his face. Where's my... You got it.
Angela Lawrence, TV6 Live, Eyewitness News.
And we just heard from the 6th graders at the elementary school, but Debbie Rauch worked with 5 classes from kindergartners right on up. And tonight on our family agenda, a look at adoptable grandparenting for our golden years. If your grandchildren have grown up or moved away, you can still be a grandma or a grandpa to a lot of kids who need your love. You can be a foster grandparent. Now, these folks help out in classrooms, daycare centers, shelters for runaway teens, anywhere a grandparent's love and attention is needed.
It works both ways. They're important to me. I'm important to them.
And what do you get from these children?
All the love they've got. And I give them all my love.
If you've got a little extra time and love to give, then contact your local Office on Aging for volunteer programs with children, or call the CAC office and ask for the Foster Grandparents Program. They're always looking for a couple of good grannies. And meteorologist Matt Hinken is up next with the weather.
He says his forecast should be even warmer than today. Stick around.
Finally, someone has broken the price barrier. New 91 restyled Chevy Cavalier. The hot new car you really want. Now at an unprecedented price breakthrough. Only $91.80 after rebate. Not stripped, but loaded. Air conditioned, AM/FM stereo, styled steel wheels, and more. Chevy Cavalier. Value priced. The opportunity you've waited for. So hurry to your first Team Chevrolet Geo dealers.
A holiday for young and old, holly, ribbon, glass and gold, Long John Silver's, make it a splash.
Make it a home-style holiday with Long John Silver seafood and holiday crystal stemware. Just 99 cents each with any meal. Long John Silver's.
Make it a splash.
Monday through Wednesday, try our 3-piece home-style fish and fries special for just $1.99.
What's for supper, Grandpa? A delicious meal as country as you please, from fresh pole beans to good old hominy. Corn on the cob and sliced tomatoes, skillet fried apples and candied sweet taters. And don't forget the biscuits and peach preserves, which brings me to the only ham I'll ever serve. Real Tennessee country ham from Clifty Farms. And I don't mean maybe, the very finest, ma'am, right up to the ham hock and the gravy. Yum, yum.
Business is tough, but we're getting tougher. Riley Williams from Village Honda inviting you to take the short drive to big savings at our Get Tough sale. Remember, this dealership does make the difference.
Well, Matt is here. We have some nice clear skies out there tonight.
Great night out there for stargazing and planet gazing.
You betcha. Mars, I guess it was most visible it's been this entire century. I guess we're supposed to get the best shot of it. We have a picture of it to show you here. It's actually the red planet is what we call Mars, but this was taken with a black and white camera, so it looks like the white planet there. Pretty nice shot we've got there, and we'll have more information on Mars coming up later in the newscast. But yes, we do have clear skies outside tonight, and I can tell you with these clear skies, our temperature for the low of the day is cooler now than it was first thing this morning when you woke up, because they had all that cloud cover overhead. Temperature dropped to 50 early this morning. Now it's down to 48 degrees, and that's exactly what happens when you have clear skies overhead. The heat of the day goes right back up into the atmosphere. We call that radiational cooling. But you need to enjoy the sunshine tomorrow, my friends, because we have a pretty good storm system, as you can see right here on the satellite photograph, pulling out of the mountains now. A lot of snow falling in the upper elevations of the Rockies, also back into the Wasatch Range and all the way back up to the Cascades. Now, this is great for those of you that are headed out there, maybe Thanksgiving ski trip. Ski resorts are just loving this weather. Much cooler air. Behind the frontal system, you can see the outline of the clouds there. We will start to see an increase in cloud cover. We will start to see southerly wind, and we'll see a chance of rain coming in here. Looks like late on the day of Thursday, first part of Friday, and then cooler air on the way. We'll explain that to you as we look at a couple other maps. Ahead of this frontal system now, look at the temperatures tonight. 40s, 50s, and 60s ahead of this system, but behind, well, we're looking at much cooler air, as you expect. 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, and teens behind this frontal system. Much cooler air as cold high pressure starts to build in. Now, the situation by tomorrow afternoon, as we put the features on the map, you'll notice that this frontal system starts to push out of the central plains, and by tomorrow night, we'll start to see an increase in cloud cover once again. High pressure will be in control tomorrow, so it should be an absolutely gorgeous day. I mean, my forecasted high for tomorrow, 70 degrees, so we will be awfully close to 70 if we don't hit it right on the nose. Thanks to high pressure and control here, we'll have a southerly wind flow. Southerly wind flow will bring us up warmer temperatures, also start to bring more moisture in. So when that moisture's in place and this front starts pushing through, we will have a chance of scattered showers when it gets in here on Thursday. I think the heaviest rain will be well up here next to the center of the low pressure. That's where most of the activity will be. And then behind the system, there it is. That cool high pressure starts to build in. Things will cool out. And it looks like a nice forecast in here for the big Kentucky-Tennessee game on Saturday. Although, I think you'll be able to wear a T-shirt tomorrow, but you'll need a sweatshirt if you're headed to the game on Saturday. That's what this cold front will do to our weather. Right now, we have clear skies after experiencing cloudy skies much of the morning. 48 degrees, which is our low for the day. 89% humidity. Our barometer is falling, and we do have a calm wind at this hour. Across the rest of the region, some of the other cooler temperatures occurring up in London, also in the Tri-Cities, Middlesboro, 42 at those 3 reporting stations, including Asheville. It's 44 in London, 48 in Chattanooga, 57 still in Atlanta, and still quite warm out in Nashville and Memphis, where they are starting to cloud up on the western side of the state. Our high here in Knoxville was 67 degrees after that low of 48, which is our current temperature, I guess. Today, no precipitation. For the year, we're ahead 4.42 inches. Forecast the rest of the night, we'll see a few thin clouds, but really nothing exciting. 44 for the low with a light wind, and then partly sunny and warm tomorrow, high right around the 70-degree mark. The next 5 days, you'll notice when the front gets here, we'll see a chance of rain as it enters the picture sometime on Thanksgiving Day, and then cooling down Friday and into Saturday and into Sunday. We'll be cooling down with overnight lows in the 30s and highs in the 50s. So definitely a cold front does exactly what it's supposed to do, cool us down, and we'll be cooling down to unusually warm, cool temperatures after this unusually warm couple of days.
Enabling us to see some beautiful views from outer space.
Absolutely gorgeous tonight.
You better believe it. Thanks a lot. When we come back, we'll tell you how to survive the nation's biggest travel week.
And people who work in trees are learning to survive accidents.
I've always thought that putting down one piece of road was pretty much the same as any other. Then I found out that underneath all this asphalt, these guys are laying down this special fabric from Phillips 66. It's called Petromat. Now, they say it'll not only make this piece of road last longer, it'll also make it safer. If Phillips 66 puts that much into a road, think how much they put into their gasolines.
Good things for cars and the people who drive them.
And another thing, you kill half an hour waiting in line to buy all your stuff in some crowded shopping mall. Then you carried about 9 miles to your car. Well, you can park right outside most Revco drugstores. Easy to shop and fast to get out. To me, Revco is just, well, a relief. Convenient, easy shopping, and great prices. Seems like too much to expect from other stores, but exactly what you get from Revco. And another thing.
Home Federal Bank presents Great Moments in Banking. At Home Federal Bank, our greatest moments are the ones we can make great for you. Home Federal Bank, the bank you'll call home.
Designer coats, leathers, furs, raincoats.
Kids coats.
Burlington Coat Factory has more coats for less than anybody. It's America's #1 place to save on coats.
The Space Shuttle Atlantis and its crew are back home tonight, safe. For the first time in 5 years, a shuttle landed on the runway at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. High winds and a wet landing strip forced NASA to divert the shuttle from its scheduled landing at Edwards Air Force Base in California. The secret military mission was extended by a day because of the bad weather. While the shuttle was landing, a European Ariane rocket lifted off from South America today, carrying 2 U.S. satellites.
And landings and takeoffs here on Earth will be more common than usual over the next few days. Nearly 6 million passengers are expected to fly the nation's airlines. Most domestic carriers expect some parts of the country to set new records throughout the holiday weekend, despite the higher fares. Travel experts recommend you give yourself extra time at the airport. You should also prepare for delays. Make sure you have identification both inside and outside all of your luggage. Sunday is expected to be the country's biggest travel day, with 2 million people rushing to get home.
Every profession has its unique problems and hazards. For arborists, one of the greatest dangers is literally finding themselves up a tree. An injured tree trimmer is often high above the ground and far from emergency crews and vehicles. That's why some local tree experts held this class to teach workers how to rescue injured colleagues.
If someone is in a hazard situation, is hurt in a job, the other men on a particular team have to know how to go up and bring that person down as expediently and as safely as possible so that they're not hurt any worse than they are.
Cortese says his company has never had an accident like this, but he wants to be ready. Well, some people are getting ready for a big heavyweight fight next year. Jim Wogan is here.
They're getting in shape for the big one.
They sure are, as a matter of fact. In fact, George Foreman, I think, just polished off the 5-course dinner getting ready for this thing, because the way he tunes up is with a big meal. George Foreman, Evander Holyfield. We won't forget the Vols in Kentucky either. All that coming up in just a minute.
At Food City, we're all geared up to help you enjoy the holidays. We've ordered extra supplies and stocked every department with all the good things your family loves. We're checking to make sure that everything you buy is the best it can be. We're loading up lots of great holiday specials and ringing up low prices, all to give you the season's best for less. Happy holidays from Food City.
TV6 Live Eyewitness Sports is brought to you by the Saturn Corporation, a different kind of company, a different kind of car.
There was Barney, Billy, Scooter, and me. We grew up on the corner of Jefferson and Palmer, and if you lived there then, you lived, breathed, swore at, and by cars. The more buck-toothed and hole-riddled, the better. We grew up some, went away, but we came back to build Mustangs, Corvettes, and GTOs, among other things. It was the 60s, and of all the things we could be thinking about, we still mostly just thought about cars. Life was good, work was good, but then the oil dried up, and it seemed like overnight something happened to the way people thought about cars. It got frustrating. Then I decided to go to work for a company called Saturn and build cars again, but in a brand new way. There were some things I knew I'd miss, but there were certain things I wanted to remember.
George Foreman stopped by the drive-thru for a quick snack just before today's press conference to hype his heavyweight title fight with Evander Holyfield, and I think he got the big burger combo right there. The man who's putting heavy back in the heavyweight division, sharing the podium with the current champ, but he refused to take the 19-pound turkey sitting right there in front of him.
I'm going to train hard every day and walk through there and grab legs of chicken, roast of beef, pork of chops, chicken liver. I mean, I'm going to have a great time.
You still got about 7-8 months to go for that thing. For the most this season, Floyd Miley's been a big part of Tennessee's ball-wall defense. But last week, he lost his starting job as defensive back, and that was tough to take. But Floyd came up with a big play during the Ole Miss game, returned a blocked punt, or I should say a blocked extra point, 97 yards. It stopped an Ole Miss threat, and it put a smile back on Miley's face.
And I enjoyed it while I was doing it until I got back to the 10-yard line. It became real hard, but that was a big play for me. It helped me basically with myself. It helped me gain the confidence back. It helped me show the team that I still can produce, even though if I'm not playing as much as I feel as though I should.
Right now, Miley listed as a backup for the game with Kentucky, been a starter for the first 9 games this season. Tennessee trying to avoid a stumble against the Cats this week. Fans on both sides knowing the score here. The Vols win, and the Sugar Bowl hopes stay alive. Tennessee loses. Well, it could happen, I suppose.
They've been a sport at different times with Tennessee in their seasons. And our upperclassmen have passed down the importance of how hard Kentucky will play and about the history of the contest and how hard they've been hit. That our players have normally hit, and teams therefore have had respect for Kentucky. Otherwise, we'd lost several more than what we have.
Coach says it's going to be a tough one. Game begins just after 12:30 over at Neyland Stadium this Saturday. High school basketball season underway around the state. Over at Holston High tonight, the Warriors hosting the Red Devils of Horace Maynard. Travis Mays with the feed inside. The turnaround jump shot right there for Holston. But watch Maynardville's Jimmy Merritt. Nowhere to go inside. The kid will hit from outside. A little bit later, Holston gets it going. Jimmy Brown off the break will pull up and hit the jump shot. Holston wins it by 11, 61-50 over Maynardville. Other scores tonight, high school basketball, Bearden on the boys and girls side, both winners, 64-46 on the boys, 47-39 with the girls. Austin East a winner on the boys side. College basketball, Walters State a winner. Carson Newman likewise with Columbia Union. Those guys hoping to do it like this someday. The National Basketball Association and former Vol Bernard King having a great season so far. Dick Motta has to check the scoreboard twice. Bullets off the break against the Kings, and the feed goes to Bernard, who hits the jump shot. Bernard King, who's been averaging better than 30 points this season, wasn't finished. This time, nowhere to go except to number 30, Bernard King. Inside right there, 45 points tonight. Sacramento wins it, though, 87-82 over Washington. And one note from auto racing tonight, A.J. Foyt says he'll retire after next season. A.J. coming back from an accident, hoping to get back in the car next season. And if he does, he says that'll be the last season he's going to race cars. So he's done.
Must be hard to hang that up. Thank you.
Sure.
And tonight's a special night for stargazers.
Next, we'll tell you about a close call from one of the Earth's closest neighbors.
Okay, Granny, plug it in.
Proud to do it.
More truck owners switched to Chevy last year than any other truck. Take a good look at this loaded 91 S10 Tahoe. For only $98.30, you get V6 power, air, stereo cassette and clock, sliding rear window. Only $98.30 after rebate.
That's a good deal.
This Tahoe's a winner at your First Team Chevrolet Geo dealers. Make the Chevy switch right now.
Don't you buy no ugly truck.
Kroger Fresh Grade A. Oh, turkeys have never been frozen, so they're naturally moist. Gobble, gobble, and taste great. And at Kroger, you'll find the perfect size bird for your needs. So, for a turkey that's really...
Fresh!
Go Krogering.
With Kroger Fresh turkeys, there's no thawing, so they're ready when you are. Happy holidays.
Kroger all-natural Grade A fresh turkey, 79 cents a pound.
When I was away from home as a kid, what I missed most were the simple things. For Andy, the long weeks he spends at an out-of-town hospital could be very lonely. But thanks to the Ronald McDonald House, Andy's family has a place to stay nearby. And now you can help keep families together.
When you spend $15 or more at Revco and take home this holiday bear for just $5.99, we'll give $2 to your local Ronald McDonald House.
And that can help kids like Andy feel a lot better.
If you saw a red light high in the sky tonight, don't worry, we're not being invaded by Martians.
What you saw was the planet Mars itself. Because of the relationship between Mars, the Earth, and the Sun, the red planet is very easy to see right now. Here's a picture of Mars through a telescope at UT. If you didn't see the planet tonight, don't worry.
A lot of people get the impression that this is a once-in-a-lifetime kind of a thing, and it's actually not. We'll be able to see Mars real well for probably the next month or so.
Mars makes its closest approach next Tuesday. Lewis says the UT telescopes will be open then for viewing the planet. Always a fascinating experience, like wake-up weather.
That is a fascinating experience. I tell you what, if you haven't got out to see it and you have a telescope, it should be a nice night the rest of the night, as a matter of fact. We'll see mostly clear skies when you wake up in the morning. Temperature about the mid-40s, and then we're going to warm up close to 70 degrees tomorrow afternoon. It's hard to believe it's halfway through the month of November, almost all the way through the month.
70s in November.
Crazy. It's East Tennessee, though.
Unreal. You got that right. Thanks a lot. Thank you for being with us. Nightline is coming up next.
Have a good evening, everyone. See you tomorrow at 6.